Well, and here we go. I'm back again on a Sunday. Jeez, I gotta turn some lights on here, guys. How are you doing today? Bet you thought I was done making videos. You'd be wrong. Shows how new you are to the channel, and that's great. I'm glad to have you on board. But boys, girls, you guys know I can go on. Crusty old crow's got a voice, and he's just gonna keep going. Doesn't matter who's listening. But I do appreciate everyone who's listening. My God, this is the big thing here, guys. We did it. Thank you. Thanks very much, guys. We got to 100 subscribers. You guys know that was the only real milestone I had set out for me on any of this. You know, down the line, when we add maybe a zero somewhere 20 years from now, or a couple of years from now, maybe a year from now. Who knows? I told you guys I don't need money. I'm fine. I'm comfortably retired and very happy to do so. It's why I make so many videos. And I would be buying these figures whether I was making videos or not, and I do so semi-responsibly. So when we do get to that point where YouTube starts to say, well, you've earned some money or whatever it is, like my son says it's 1,000 videos. There are 1,000 subscribers. I'm just going to use that to do some really fun contests with you guys, especially to kind of reward you guys for sticking through this old man's hot air and rambling. I did the math. I was thinking, on the average of 30 to 45 minutes of video, you guys have stuck through 35 hours or more of videos, and I'm at it. I can keep going. So for those of you just joining the channel, don't think that there's going to be times where you don't hear from me for a little while. It'll just be a tactical perspective toy review, and then a week goes by, you won't hear anything, and then there's going to be times where you see a lot. So enough on that. You guys know my background. You know who I am. You know what I'm bringing to the table as far as my shows. So I'm not gonna get into that for this thank you video, friendos. You guys want to know about that, you can go back through other videos. I have a hard time with my ADHD staying focused, and today I don't want to make this a super long one, but who am I kidding? It'll probably be long enough, right? So I talked about all that. I think I definitely, like I said, I owe that 100 subscribers to you guys for sure. And to anyone who's hit a like or commented on this video or subscribed, I can't thank you enough. You guys, every time you act this video, it puts it back in the rotation, and maybe somebody else who's been into this classified line comes across this. And it's no secret, I'm targeted more at guys of my age group from the 80s that grew up with it. But I accept all ages for what they are, and they're more than welcome here. I don't believe there's any difference when it comes to G.I. Joe, how old you are, and it comes down to the sheer enjoyment. It's just the ways you enjoyed it. And we're all here to just talk about the great things. Yeah, we're going to talk about some bad things every now and then, but that's not the focus. So my last video was 82, the 82 original Joes versus the classified now kind of thing, and I'm going on to 83 and 84 for this video. So I don't want to waste much more time with an intro. I just want to let you know where we're going and what that looked like back then. So got that off there, yeah. Okay. Just you notice I took notes, right? So I'm really trying, guys. I am trying to be better for you. So let's go right into, first off, one person I definitely want to talk about today, just really quick. I keep sending a little shout out to the guys who make the most comments in there, because that's how I know who you are there. And believe me, when you subscribe there, I see your name and I'm really glad to have you there. But when somebody's in the comments section and participating in the discussion, that's taking it to a level that I was looking for. I was having some discussions with y'all and hearing your feedback. And I want to send a special shout out today to Daredevil Dave. Been with me since the start, and I have never really mentioned him on this channel, and I feel a little bad about that, because he's been a really good supporter over the short span this channel's been around, and all those hours and videos Dave's participated. So thank you very much, Daredevil Dave. I wanted to wear my Daredevil t-shirt for you today because I'm a huge Daredevil and Marvelite, but I couldn't. But what I could do is do something Joe relevant today. I found my one Joe shirt that it wasn't army looking, but I think is very relevant, especially to today's video, because it's about one of your favorites. Figure it out. It'll be in the comments. Let me know who you think I'm talking about here. All right, because it's not just a Canadian throwing shade at the Americans, not at all. It's actually Joe relevant, and while you think about where he's going with it, trust me, I'll reveal it when we start talking about our 83 and 84 line of G.I. Joe action figures and what we have now versus what we had then, and where it's going, okay? So, let's open up. And just quick disclaimer, guys, I do not own any of my images from Google. They're all pulled off Google, and the Google links me to other places. So I apologize if I don't give enough credit to where I'm pulling some of this stuff off. But I try. You guys know I try. I try to do the best I can to give credit to where credit is due. And so I'm calling up images there. There's the 83. So this was a handy little site for our next discussion. Let's look at the 83, 84 line. I think this is off Joepedia or Yo Joe, one of their websites that I pulled these images off of. So there we go. And I'm going to grab my list because I don't want to deviate from my format very long. You guys know I do a lot of this off the top of my head. So when I have a format, things will probably go faster. So let's quickly talk about 83, 84, okay? And remember I said in 82, everything was about G.I. Joe, and I proved it to you. I told you how the movies and the music and the scene was all about it, right? And you got to remember in 82 through 84 right now, to recap, one thing that was being achieved is Saturday morning cartoons were keeping us glued to the TV set through the commercial breaks. That's a huge revenue boost, actually. If you think about it from a marketing perspective, a lot of people, and always, since the invention of television, when commercials come on, the adults would usually go and try and get stuff accomplished, but kids would sit there glued to the set. So, again, I maintain all of TV was about G.I. Joe because Saturday morning cartoon, I'll be specific about that, and after school cartoons, combined, both would give you glimpses of G.I. Joe commercials with the little animation at the beginning and then what's coming out in the line, and they were in your face regularly, maintaining their market. But what was on the radio? Okay, in 83, the number one song, Every Breath You Take. How is that about Joe? I'm going to tell you right now. I see that Torpedo came out in the 83 line. And you think that's just a little bit low-hanging fruit to say that that song's about Torpedo just because he's a scuba diver, right? But it's also that part, every movie you make, I'll be watching you. I picture this is something that Duke or Hawk is saying to Torpedo before he goes off on a mission all by himself in that deep, dark abyss, swimming all by himself, and they want him to know, we got your back, we're watching you, buddy. So that's clearly about him. And that was the song by the Police, right? What about 84? Well, 84, the song When the Doves Cry from Purple Rain and from Prince and the Revolution back then, that was the big hit. So how is that about Joe? Oh, that's easy. I know exactly when doves cry. And it's when... Here we go. See, I'm quick to get to the t-shirt, right? It's when they see freedom. Doves cry. Right? And that's weird because doves represent freedom and peace and all that, but Freedom the eagle has a diet and he eats freedom. And Spirit was coming in the 83, 84 line, or the 84 line, but it's pertinent to today, right? So that's exactly when doves cry when they see him. So it's all about Joe, guys. All about Joe. Do I have to reach for it? Yeah, but with my ADHD and my weird perspectives, I don't have to reach far. Cha-cha, join the club. Oh, look at this. All the Joes are gathered around the actual enemy of 83. Their actual enemy. It's not Cobra. It's Star Wars. 83, the top movie for 83 was Return of the Jedi. And this was, I'm going to dwell on this for a second. If you think about it, 1980 was Empire Strikes Back. By 82, all the Empire Strikes Back toys have been seen and sold, right? And this is where I say Joe had the advantage over Star Wars because this whole time you had to go to a movie theater and see Star Wars to know who the characters were, and you only got an hour and a half to 2 hours to really get to know that cast and crew and all the characters you could see. And it was limited to that. And it was all limited to that one story arc of following Luke into the rebellion and where he went. Joe wasn't like that. Joe was hitting you in comic books. Joe was hitting your cartoons. Joe was hitting you in mini adventures just for their damn commercials. Joe was hitting you on the retail shelves like mad, and they were waging war against Star Wars, and this was the final nail, because Return of the Jedi was the last of the trilogy, which meant once you got those figures out, you were into your recycle phase, trying to keep breath in a line that didn't have a fourth movie coming, not for 20 some odd years, right? But Joe was going to keep going, and they did, and they won the war against Star Wars, as far as I see it, in 83 and 84. Tap out, you're done. Ticket, Vader, ticket. All right, so who did we get? Well, sorry, let me finish off. What was the big movie in 84? How do I tie that to this? Oh my God, Ghostbusters. Yeah, the one front Joe wasn't covering on the battlefield was a supernatural, right? And you know Cobra was going to dip into it once you got Mindbender and Crystal Ball and all those other guys into it. And they're into it now with the mole people, almost with a little bit of necromancy or undead looking mutations and things like this. But I mean, we let the Ghostbusters handle that, right? SMEs, subject matter experts. You let the guys who are qualified to do their job do their damn job. Joe knows this shit. We know this shit. All right, so those what was big in 83, guys. In 84, that covers that. Next note. So who are we getting in the 83 line? The figures. Okay, guys. First up, let me blow them up. We got Airborne. I'm just going to go through the list as you see it on here, and I'll talk about the figures. I have other picks for this slideshow that I want to talk about, right? So Airborne, we got him. You remember him. He was jumping down at you with that action pack, and he was filling out your infantry ranks. And he looked really cool because he had the potential to be compatible with one of the vehicles that was coming up that you were seeing shown in the cartoons, the Dragonfly. He made sense flying in that Dragonfly. And if you had the Dragonfly, you wanted Airborne. And if you wanted Airborne, you definitely wanted the Dragonfly. All right, so we have an Airborne now. We had an Airborne then. Okay. One of the ones that we have rumors is coming. I haven't seen the digital renders yet, and I don't know if it was an official announcement from Hasbro recently, but one of the ones in the 83 line that came out that we definitely and sorely need today is Doc. And I'm gonna just show you, this is a Super 7, I believe, version of Doc, right? And if you think about it, he's absolutely required in your line, and I'm surprised it's gotten them this long. And I look at what the options are for medics right now in your Joe line, and there's none. And you heard me talk about this in my reviews when I come to frontline combat troops and a lack of first aid kits. So I'll be more than happy to see Doc when he comes out. I'll definitely be getting him. I don't care if it's Tiger Force Doc, if it's Valor Force Doc, and separate videos. If it's any version of Doc will do. We need a medic, guys. We need somebody taking care of our Joes, because that's the truth of the soldiers. Soldiers are not just going in like killbots and choking the breach. We are trying to do self-aid, buddy aid, everything we can to stay alive, guys. Bring on Doc. Who else came out in that line? Oh my gosh, guys. Destro, we know Destro came out in that line. It was epic. The first Chrome Dome figure, full head figure. We know that Cobra Commander also was released in the first line, second line. Some were bridging the gap. He came towards the end of the first line and bridged into the second. But Destro was your first like real lieutenant general type for Cobra. As an individual, pardon me while I drink my coffee. Go Leafs. And he looked really funky as hell, right? And you gotta remember this, the 80s and the era of Miami Vice and all these other great shows. And your villains had to be unique at that time. They had to have almost a trademark. And I don't think you could find a trademark more noticeable in a toy line than Destro. That open V breast chest with the red collar and the silver mask. So we got Airborne Doc, Cobra Commander, Destro Doc. Who else did we get? We got Gung Ho. Who doesn't love Gung Ho, right? But that's not the Gung Ho we got first in the classified line. It was this Chuck Liddell looking MF over here. And no, I don't have his hat on. And yeah, whatever. But that was the first one we got, and that was back early in the line. What was he, like number 11 or 7 or some early number? And I've talked about that, how early in the classified line in 2000, like during the COVID phase, you know, this was still trying to feel out how Fortnite was going to do, what the market looked like. So that was their first effort at him. But you can see classified as a subline. I call it a subline. It's where figures go to get old. and it's the retro line. And if you're looking for your old school 80s version of a G.I. Joe, that's where you're gonna go, retro line. If you want a more modernized version of a character from the G.I. Joe line that is still very much an homage to the original, but a bit more modernized and common sense, go to the classified. But if you're a purist, retro. Okay, so Gung Ho came out, and we were all about Gung Ho for that point forward. You had a pretty solid character in Gung Ho. Major Blood is one that we have in the classified line, but I just can't get him represented because he's just such a good figure from the looks of it. And I was late to the game, guys, but you can see that the way Major Blood was received was he is an elusive hot item from Viper Island collection. Also earlier in the line, and I look at Amazon, I see them priced around the 150 to 200 in Canada, and I'm getting to the point where I'm almost willing to pay it because I just want that Sebastian Blood character in my army, driving that more sinister Chechenian mercenary kind of feel to my forces. And when I see him come into my forces, eventually I'm going to start blasting hockey pucks at Hasbro's garage door, telling them to let me in or come out and play because it's time for October Guard to start working their way into this line. Hit me up in the comments if you agree. I think October Guard is, it's surprised we haven't seen them here in the midst of all this. But let's stay focused to that 83 line, and enough about Major Blood. Let's go down to Torpedo. We know Torpedo was there. There was a song about him, all that other stuff, right? Torpedo is your new bathtub toy. If you were small enough to still play with bathtub toys, that's where Torpedo fell in. And especially with those vehicles that were coming up, the storytelling involved Torpedo for a reason, because this was the year that you were going to get some pretty serious vehicles in your line, right? And this was the year we were going to start going into a lot of that year and the year after, we were going to start getting into where Joe starts playing, and that's outside. It's in the bathtub, it's in your backyard pool if you had one, it's anywhere at cottage country, right? This is where Joe was gaining a big advantage, was the multiple play levels. Yeah, Star Wars can match you for play as far as having some vehicles that you liked and some figures you liked. Put them in the water. Put them in the water, right? That was it. Couldn't do it. Throw them in the air. Joe gave you some that would throw them in the air. Yeah, they were crappy, but you could throw them in the air. Gliders, right? So Gung Ho, Major Blood, Torpedo, we talked about. Snow Job, clearly another one that was going to get linked to a future toy release. And Snow Job is another one I'm going to take a wish list on. I have not seen him out here in Ottawa. I would love to have him and Tripwire, both he's on this list. But it's a matter of finding them, and I haven't found them yet. And mailing always with shipping and handling versus coming across them in the store. I'm just waiting for my fortune to change. But if you watched my other video about the O Group and the news that was being dropped out of Viper Island and my reactions to what they were talking about as far as Hasbro's recent revelations about box art and the storytelling, I had another look at some of the photos available for Snow Job, and I just want to share a couple of shots here. So all this time we knew that we were getting some Easter eggs about the snow bats, and you could see the diversity and everything in there, all that, right? And I didn't see a whole lot of online discussion about Snow Job because I don't have them, and I didn't want to have it rubbed in my face. But one thing I did pick up on is there's a little bit of yellow back up here. And I see it reoccur in this photo where he's holding him off just before he gets captured. And I believe they were giving us the nod to the Cobra Valkyrie set. I think that was the tan weapon from the female Cobra Valkyrie soldier. But Snow Job is another one that where they not only gave you your original 83, but they did them up super duper. So we got him in 83, and then finally we got Tripwire in 83. Another one that has had some mixed reviews of whether or not he was worth doing a deluxe set on amongst a lot of people. Some people didn't get excited with Tripwire, and I remember Tripwire in 83 when I got him. He had the little backpack with three or four landmines tucked away on that. He had his mine detector. Don't recall him having a gun. Certainly didn't have a rat, if I remember. But he was another figure that frustrated me because he had no rifle looked like he wasn't going to be able to get in the fight and get involved. So the action play when you're playing with your friends in wherever you're playing wasn't really there. But I always liked the character as an adult. I looked back on it, and yeah, you heard me slam the movie The Hurt Locker. I think it's a mediocre movie at best. But it did, the tripwire they got, I think, definitely helped like that, capture the feel of what these explosive ordnance device guys are dealing with in the modern battlefield. And there is absolutely a place in my army all day long for a guy like Tripwire. I can't wait to get him. But he was out on that list as well, right? So we know that we have pretty much everybody in that line except for, who are we missing, guys? We're missing Doc, okay? And Airborne. And we know Airborne's on the way. And we know Doc will be on the way. And quite honestly, I'm looking forward to Doc more than I am Lifeline. Thanks, G.I. Joe Cartoon, for doing the Hacksaw Ridge and showing me that Lifeline was this conscientious objector, but he was kind of a dick about it. And nothing against conscientious objectors, but I have this real hard time thinking that a conscientious objector like Lifeline made it to the Joe team. Like, he advanced through regular military service. It's fine. I wouldn't want someone's freedom of choice to cost them their career. But I wouldn't want them to go into an elite special unit with that kind of obstacle to get around, right? The reason I found that out is I saw Lifeline loading the Tomahawk and bitching about it, right? And I was like, wait a second. You know, like, you're an elite training unit. Why did you even apply if you weren't going to fight? All right. Anyways, that's my opinions on that. So let's bump it up now. I'm going to take you directly over to 84, and we're going to talk about the figures that came out in 84 before I go on to what came out in vehicle-wise, all right, and what we have. So in 84, back then, we got the Baroness, right? Baroness back then, and it was the first version of the Baroness, and that was your first female enemy in your Cobra collection. And yeah, I don't have much else to say. You know, we've had a couple of different interpretations of the Baroness through this line, a couple repaints consistently. I think so long as you got the head right, I don't think the head and you got the true image right, like you did with the retro card and this one that came with the coil. The main points were the articulation, I think, and where the weapons were laid out and how they didn't interact with the articulation of the arms. That was the only real criticism with that. Blowtorch. We got to talk about Blowtorch, guys, because he was there. And he is one that, you know, I kind of want back in the line here as quickly as possible and classified, because I feel like Barbecue is hanging out in the wind all by himself right now. Yeah, he is one of Slaughter's Marauders, but he's got no support right now. And as far as a firefighter or tandem, you know I'm big on fire team partners, guys. I think not having a fire team partner is silly. I mean, if it's avoidable, have a fire team partner. Why wouldn't you? Duke came out in that line, and it was more like the more traditional Duke than we got. It was the first real cool Duke. I think most other Dukes after faltered. But whatever. Firefly got into your face in this line for the first time. For me, it was an instant love affair. I think it was for everybody. Here you had a guy, he looked as cool as Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. We hadn't had Beachhead yet, but Firefly was this urban cam demolitions guy, and he had a cool Thompson-like submachine gun, like, you know, very Balkans appeal to him. You believed he was a terrorist. It was an awesome character. We also got Mutton Junkyard. Sorry, and we do have Firefly. We have two variants of Firefly. We have the Viper Island with the heavy vest, and we got this one. Okay, enough about Firefly. We know about the QC issues. I'm not that guy. Okay, Mutton Junkyard. Oh my God, I can't wait. I have my pre-orders in with GameStop here in Ottawa for my Mutton Junkyard and my Metalhead. You guys are seeing it now. You guys can definitely get them in on Amazon. I think Amazon is looking at a post-Christmas release for those. I cannot wait to get that figure. I'm so excited to see Mutton Junkyard. And I talked on the last video about the photography behind Mutton Junkyard and what's coming. So that was out in that wave. One of our personal favorites, somebody we're all waiting for. And I didn't bring them down, but oh my God, rock and roll. Hey, for you those of you new to the channel, just understand I drop something in every video, and then usually it's about an hour long of me trying to find that thing. It's kind of funny, I guess. It's annoying, but I mean, if you count it, maybe you could make a drinking contest out of it and just watch my videos get hammered. All right, so Recondo came out in the 84 line. And I remember this guy, I was on my way to New Brunswick with my uncle and aunt, and we stopped at the store and I got him. I think on the same day I got Mutton Junkyard, and asked me what our vacation was like at that point. I didn't care. I had Mutton Junkyard. They were two amazing figures. Yeah, we'll lay you down, buddy. Take a break. Who else did we get in that line? We got Ripcord. And for those of you that maybe don't track Hasbro HasLab at this point yet, but or do. We know that Ripcord is coming in a Night Force variant as a part of the funded Dragonfly project. He was a tier unlock. And we know that he is well on his way to joining Wild Bill. Oh, sorry, there's that classified Recondo we're getting, but it's in the retro figure. Okay, so we have a Recondo right now, but we're getting the retro. But I just wanted to quickly show you. There's that Wild Bill, that Dragonfly. We'll talk about the Dragonfly a little bit later, but there he is. That's Ripcord as I get him, as I understand the renderings at this point. And now that those Hislite tanks are up, Dragonfly are up. Get out there, start giving their guys their stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I don't have one, but I want to see all the images. Same as this tank, guys. When I say I'm fiscally responsible, it's outside my budget for now. Not forever, but for now, I'm not comfortable buying these HasLab products. The price tag's just a bit hefty. And I can get my enjoyment spreading that money that I would have put on HasLab much further into Classified. Maybe I could do some army building. Who knew? Who else came out? Roadblock. Okay, we've had so many Roadblocks so far, and we're getting more. We have the original Classified first attempt at it, the Fortnite variant type, as somebody coined it for me. Not very well received as far as firepower goes. The figure was okay. I think the figure's okay. I think they did better as the line went on. You got your heavy artillery roadblock, which brought you the Gatling gun and a drum of ammo, and you've heard me harp on about that plenty. But he's got that simpler uniform and the bump helmet, and God, I wish I could have gotten this one. But I haven't been able to track that one down in my conventional means here in Ottawa. That's never going to do it. I am going to be taking off to Edmonton, Alberta over the holidays, and I'm hoping I'm going to see some collectible stores that have a few things like Alley Vipers, this, Blood, maybe, Beachhead, Roll. So who else? So yeah, so we are expecting a Tiger Force variant of Roadblock. There's the old version. We do know that that's in development, and you know, with the big yellow helmet, I think they're going to run a risk. I think it's going to sell just the same way Flint sold and others that people haven't liked necessarily. But I think this one could look bad if they're not really careful because of that yellow helmet and then the brown and orange pants with a dark shirt. It's going to be a risk. I really hope they make that work. Okay. Who else did we get in that line? Oh my gosh, we got Scrap Iron, which we already know about, the precious Scrap Iron and his beautiful upgraded modernized drone with all those blast effects. Classified turned that into a deluxe set worth having, and now you start seeing, it's been out there a little while, so this is where you start seeing those don't pay full price, pay 25% off, 33% off. If you pay attention to places like Amazon and whatnot long enough, you'll find the discount the same way we found it for the Coil and for Duke and the Ram. We'll get there with Scrap Iron. Spirit and Freedom. Every one of the best sculpts of the line. I think this did everything they wish they could have done with the 80s version. Everything, right? Everything. It's just and you know, I'm mad at myself for missing that on my top 10 for my honorable mentions. You know, Classified's doing that well in my mind. They made me forget about a figure for a moment. That was probably one of the early, I think this was one of the first 5 figures I bought for the Classified line, and it was one of the most satisfying. But freedom. All right, and then the last guy we got to talk about from the 84 line that came out that everybody fell in love with and became almost well, I'd say as popular as Snake Eyes, for sure, was Storm Shadow. There's my retro Storm Shadow. We've had a couple of variants of him through the classified line. They started off with that video game-esque winter one. Then they moved on to the one that, like this one, that had the hood. And I fully expect we're going to see another Storm Shadow at some point. You guys know me. I've had a theory a little while now that we're going to see like a Middle Eastern twist on Storm Shadow to complement the Desert Commando Snake Eyes at some point. Right? So most of these figures we've got. What are we waiting on here? Rakondo and Mutton Junkyard, yeah. We've seen all of them. Okay, and this is what I was saying in the 81 line, why I was upset, is they didn't complete that 81 loop, or sorry, 82. They didn't complete the 82 loop. We have no Flash Short Fuse Grand Slam yet, but 83, we get all that. And 84, we're almost done all those lines, right? So for vehicles, guys, what did we get as far as vehicles back then? That was the floodgates that opened, because I'm just going to go through both lines all at once and just show you the pictures in a slideshow, because I have theories about all of it. Go figure. The old man's got theories again. All right. Cobra Claw came out. I believe that was an 83 release, not an 84. Let me just point this downward. Right. And, well, all right. I'll meet you halfway. You guys heard me talking about my theory about the silhouette on the box for General Hawkeye. I was beginning a theory that this is the claw in a Wild Weasel set that may be getting slapped together for some retail joy coming in the near future. I'm probably out to lunch, but am I? All right, I've joked about this with Stalker, but this was my first mail away, your first mail away. The biggest joke in the G.I. Joe series was the tactical windsurfer, dude. All right, you know, you can't even say that's a Kevlar sale. Yeah, you know, but I had it, and I had fun with it. Whatever. That came out in 83. The Bivouac, all these play sets, you had all that come out. I don't think these are things we're going to see showing up in the classified line per se. I just don't see the market for it when there's all 3D printing and other things that can do this for us. And I think they know that. It's moving out, defense positions. All right, Zartan and his Chameleon. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of 3D printer files out there, guys. I have 2 different types of 3D printers I've never set up. When I get to my house where we're actually going to live and not this rental that I'm in, I will set up a proper workshop, and that's probably first on my list is giving Zartan his Chameleon, but that came out. Then you have the Asp. You've heard me say I think this is another one that's on the more immediate list of retail vehicles because it is towable behind the Stinger or Vamp. Yeah, the Rattler. I'm feeling like this is instant HasLab, but if you really look at the thinness of the design and the materials involved, there's hope you could do it as a retail. There is. I don't think it's a big hope, but there is hope. But that came out. That gave us something to fight our Sky Striker. There's our Cobra Stinger. Our Havoc, I still think that's coming out. The Stinger, we know. Go back to that. We know what's going on with that. Everybody's going to expect that right after the Vamp, same as Vamp Mark II. Okay, turn off that light. There we go. The Havoc. I could see that being marketed probably maybe 2026, I would say. 2026, and only because it's a low material build and it fits a single figure. Maybe they would bundle it with a figure release, but I think that's just as achievable as a Vamp, if not more so. We got the Shark with Deep Six, also achievable. Bring back the bathtub toy. And then the Whale, a killer whale. You guys know I love this thing so much. And if you've looked at my other videos and you know my stuff, I think somebody asked about it the other day. I've done 2 scratch build hodgepodge hovercrafts that I'm still working on. I had one that was based on the whale I called the Ahab, and it got damaged in the garage. I'm not going to lie. A mouse got at it, actually, and chewed out some of the bottom of it. So I've got to do some repairs. I was pretty pissed off, but the other little one that you've seen in other videos, I'm just gonna keep going with that one, get the paint done and everything like that, and that's gonna represent CoverGirl and our Wolverine. So the water moccasin is another one everybody wants, and you see a lot of 3D printing files on that, but I think that's just as achievable as the Vamp, and I think that's a promise note because we already have a Copperhead, so I think they're gonna find a way to get that one out. Maybe it'll be a new Copperhead variant or something, but we'll see. And then the Vamp and the Howl two-piece, I don't think we're going to see that at all. Vamp Mark II, we could see it. We'll see how Vamp Mark 1 sales go and Stinger sales, and then we'll see if there's a market for Vamp Mark II, because it's the exact same as a Stinger, really. I'm going to talk about the Slugger. I know these are, I think, 84 releases, but the Slugger was an example of G.I. Joe being my hero for a little bit. I had a birthday when I was 11, and I remember for whatever reason it happened that we couldn't plan a birthday party, and my single mom, who was putting herself through nursing school and working all the time, she felt just awful about me not having a birthday party, and I was trying to tell her, you know, like, it's okay, everything's fine. But what we did instead is she took me out shopping and she bought me this. I found this on the shelf and I had never seen it before. And I took this home, and this is how vivid Joe hits me. You got to think, right, guys, I'm 50 years old and I remember this clearly. Like I did the first time I saw Star Wars. I was 11 years old. I took this home. I unpacked that driver and thought how he reminded me of a really cool World War II hero. And this big cannon piece was amazing. It had that shovel plow at the back to brace itself when it fired its cannon. And I watched Das Boot that day for the first time while playing with this toy. So G.I. Joe saved my birthday, and it saved my mom's day because she could just see how delighted I was by it all, right? She was feeling bad about no party, but all she saw was her son playing with his Joes and loving his life, right? So G.I. Joe saves the day, right? Accessory packs. We saw lots of those. I expect those to start showing up at some point within the classified line to diversify your steel core builds and troop builds and things like that. Why wouldn't you do this, Hasbro? It's very retro of you. Be retro. The snake, the battle armor snake. While we haven't seen one, let us all be thankful, because this could have been the opportunity for Hasbro to follow the real controversy, which is the build-a-figure lines like you see in Marvel Legends and other lines. The collect everything in the wave to build this one big figure. And the battle armor snake, I would think if they were going to do this stupid build-a-figure thing, and pardon me for saying it's stupid, but I think it's not working well. As well as I don't think it would work well to see the snake on there, but it would be there. Okay, this is what I was saying, the Crummy Attack Glider. It came with its own Cobra Infantry Trooper, or if you bought the Joe version, I think that was called the Falcon, before Falcon was around. That came with a second version of Grunt, a Tan Grunt, right? There you go, there's Tan Grunt there. We have that jump pack, came out, I guess, 83. This is what I was talking about. I was seeing in Canada, the Grand Slam with this jump pack. I wasn't used to seeing a red Grand Slam. I was only used to seeing the red Flash. I think that was 83. The Whirlwind. I am championing for this to come out. Can't remember if this was 83 or 84, but that was my vote for an air defense gun. Again, it's a towable weapon. I think that's got to come. Then they got into all these drones, the flamethrower, the rocket launcher, and the missile launcher. No, not into it. And they had the command center towards the end. I'm just going to try and get these pictures back to the vehicles I didn't talk about earlier. Where did they go? The 83 release, though. Let's talk about these ones up here. Another photo I pulled off Etsy, guys. But we, whoa, camera. Steady, buddy. We got the APC, which was one of my favorite Joe vehicles to unwrap in a Christmas of 83 because of it had all the space in the world for your figures. It was another bathtub pool toy, and it was easy to use, like easy to take the canopy off, easy to take the front end off, easy for the gun, and just a very brilliant toy. I would love to build one of these. I'd love to see this come back somehow. CoverGirl's Wolverine, as we already have a CoverGirl, we have to think there's got to be a Wolverine coming. And like I said, that's what I'm doing with my hobby, is I'm just going to build my own updated Wolverine. Cobra Hiss Tank in 83 came out, and HasLabs is all over it. And now I don't think I can get a Cobra Hiss Tank because it seems almost made of unobtainium. right? What else did we get? We got the Dragonfly. Let's get in on there. Dragonfly with Wild Bill. Stop it. There we go. That's another unobtainium. That's HasLab. That's a big price point, but it's there. We got that in 83. And we also got its kind of enemy, the Fang. I do think we're going to see a Fang. I do. I think that's an easy mark for us. If you can do the Vamp, you can do the Fang. We just have to see where these Vamp sales go. And then the Sky Striker amazed little boys and girls, and we said, screw the glider, we want the Sky Striker. And parents' price tag, our wallets were crying and bleeding and hemorrhaging all over the place, and dad was drinking more, but it was out, and we still don't have one of those. And everybody's thinking HasLab, and I can see it, but my God, man, you know, you're gonna have to be saving up a big cash cow of $1,000 probably, and more, for a Sky Striper backed project. So that covered the 83 and the 84 more or less, guys. As far as the vehicles that I'm missing, oh, I missed one I wanted to talk about really quick. The Polar Bear. As a Canadian, I am contractually obligated, or I lose my citizenship if I don't mention snowmobiles at any available point in their criticalness on a conventional war, right? It snows in places all over the world, and you still got a battle in there, and Snowjob is representing it, and Cobra has their winter representation. You've heard me advocate I need a Snowcat for a HasLab project or an over-the-shelf project for sure, but the Polar Bear I think is a must. The Polar Battle Bear, pardon me, is a must for this line, and we need to have it. And that's where I'm going to sum it up, guys. 85 and 86 is going to be another video on its own, probably 87. I know earlier in the 82 I said, I'm going to stop at 84. That's old man memory, thinking, you know, you were only collecting for so long. And I was collecting a lot longer than I thought. I realize that now. So, sorry. There's going to be a few more videos. Really quickly again, guys. Daredevil Dave, Skullfrog, Demakism. All you guys that have been here since the beginning, I just want to say thank you again. I know 100 means nothing on the big YouTube picture. I'm just this little thing. But on my small agendas and my small satisfactions, 100 was a small picture and a bigger map of just me enjoying myself. I love this hobby. You love Joe. It's the only reason you're watching. I have a lot to say about it. I don't hide from it, guys. I don't. It's funny, if you watch me on any other social media, I barely ever say anything. I don't. If you were to meet me in the street, I'd probably say hi to you, but I wouldn't talk your ear off. But if you're my friends, I'll talk your ear off. And at 100 subscribers, guys, I've been talking your ear off. I guess I consider you friends, but I like to joke and think this is my squadron. I finally have a squadron, and I didn't have to become a sergeant major. I just retire as a sergeant, and I get one through YouTube. So thanks, Squadron, for following me along. Sergeant Major Crusty Old Crow, I guess, is who I am today. And I owe all that to you guys. And that's where I'm going to leave it. That Specfire Crow fight between Buzzer and Barbecue will be coming. I'm just going to wait till the week starts. And just leave this at one video today. And you will see me follow up this video with the 85-86 line. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, like it. If you want to subscribe, come on in. I mean, I'm at 100. What more? There's room for a lot more. You know, just come on in. I'm really happy as it is. You know, I'm not gonna get upset, and you'll never hear me bitching too much on this channel. So come on over. Feel free to share any of my videos that are Crusty Old Crow's videos, and not the one where the little boy's building Lego. If you find that one, don't share that. And until next time, guys, keep hitting me up in the comments, and I'll keep trying to get back to you as best as I can. Thanks so much. Bye.